things along their widest axis. This is called the maximal inertial axis. It flies very stably. If you spin a deck of cards along its thinnest line, its minimal axis, it flies very well. But if you spin a deck of cards or any other block rectangular object in anything other than its maximum or minimum axis, watch what happens. It actually will, here we go, let me see if I can keep the camera here. It'll actually tumble. Do you see how it twists every now and then? That twist is a very unusual phenomenon that is true of spinning objects in space. So a deck of cards makes some very interesting games and demonstrations that you can do in space.
Were there any moments you thought that could be something different, that could be something otherworldly?
You do see some strange things, but normally they, like everything, it has an explanation to it. I saw a couple of meteors coming into Earth, which was really cool to watch them. You don't normally see lights out in space during the daytime. You see the stars at night, but during the daytime you don't normally see any other lights. And one time I was at the Cooper and I could see a couple of lights passing by the space station that looked like either satellites or fast-moving objects, which was really quite strange. Never seen that before. So I called one of my other crewmates over and we had a look at it. We were wondering what it was. Then we realised it wasn't actually far away from the space station. It was quite close to the space station, and it was in fact small droplets of liquid that were leaking out of the Progress module, and they were passing. The sunlight was reflecting on these droplets of water. So, like I said, everything that's unusual normally has an explanation to it.
We're going to look at how this book rotates about each of its axes. So here we see a book rotating about its one of its axes, and it just rotates nice and stable, as you can see. It's just happy rotating that way. Here it's rotating about another one of its axes, and again it's happy rotating in that direction. And both of these axes represent the minimum moment of inertia and the maximum moment of inertia. The third axis that we're going to see is intermediate between those two. And there's an interesting relationship that if a body has an intermediate moment of inertia, it can't rotate stably about that axis. So now let's look at this book when it rotates about its intermediate moment of inertia. And here it is, and you can see it's not rotating stably. It's oscillating back and forth as it's rotating about this axis that is intermediate in terms of its moment of inertia. Now here we have a cylinder rotating, and it happens to be one of our film cans. It makes a nice solid cylinder, and it's rotating stably about its long axis. And here we see another cylinder. It's one of our camera lenses, and again, it's rotating stably about its long axis.